Hey, welcome to This Is the Day. Woo! Was that not right?
It wasn't wrong.
It wasn't wrong?
No, you just
So it
added
was
an
right.
extra countdown. You know, in my head, I was doing This Is the Day in chicken.
Oh.
I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
so sorry we
That's-
subjected you to that.
No, that's what my brain's usually doing, like regularly.
You got chicken speak in your head?
Chicken speak, just constant chicken speak all the time.
Describe your inner monologue, Ariana.
A lot of balking. Just like a chicken picking up feed, which is like in my brain, on my brain, all the time.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, right on. Welcome to This Is the Day.
Yeah.
I'm Bo Chansey.
And I'm Ariana Earnshaw.
Yeah. Chicken feed brain.
And I have chicken feed brain.
Ariana must have a confession. You are not in your right state of mind. Tell the people.
Okay, here's the thing.
Here it is.
So,
This is the thing.
for many weeks, I have not been drinking any caffeine, having much sugar at all. I've been really good about the sugar. I've been doing a good job of holding off on the sugar and the caffeine and some other things. I've been doing a little bit of a nutrition challenge. But today, I went on a little coffee run. And I was like, you know what? You can have a moment. You get your favorite drink from Starbucks and it's fine. It just happens to have a good amount of sugar and a lot of caffeine. And I should have known to maybe not do that, but I did it, and now I'm all over the place.
Okay.
I'm just.
I believe you told me that you were on a whole other plane.
I said I was on a whole other plane,
Which I responded, did you get a window or aisle seat?
and I said both. I'm sprawled out on all the seats.
So here's my concern about this other plane you're on.
Okay, yeah.
It may crash.
It's gonna crash.
So there's a chance you're telling me that at some point on this episode, I may be here like by myself.
Yeah. I'll be here physically, but mentally the plane may be. So.
Well, I think that explains how we ended up doing the This Is the Day theme song and chicken speak. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. For some reason, today, my brain wasn't doing it in chicken speak.
But
Most days it is.
which you handle it, yeah.
Yeah. And I just suppress it.
But that transference came my way.
It did. I'm shaking. I don't know if you can see this, but I am. This is just completely. I'm trying to be still, and I just.
You are shook.
Yeah, I'm a little.
All right.
I'm a little shook.
I got something to steady your nerves.
Okay, please.
The verse of the day.
Yes.
You ready for this?
Let's do it.
All right, it's from 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 58. It says, "Therefore, my dear brothers and sisters, stand firm, let nothing move you. Always give yourselves fully to the work of the Lord, because you know that your labor in the Lord is not in vain." I'm going to read it again. "Therefore, my dear brothers and sisters, stand firm. Let nothing move you. Always give yourselves fully to the work of the Lord, because you know that your labor in the Lord is not in vain." All right, what jumps out at you there, Ariana?
Language like fully
Fully.
has been standing out to me lately. I think partially because I've been reading through Ephesians 6, the armor of God, every morning.
Yep.
And it says, put on the full armor of God.
All of it.
And that's been, also you preached on this. We're in a series called Armor Up, which has been awesome about this. But putting on the full armor of God, and the importance and the weight of that, you have to See, this is the caffeine brain. It's seriously happening. There's so many things pinging around in my brain. But the importance and the weight of putting on the full armor of God so that you're not left. He's provided you with this armor to pick up, and he's equipped us for a purpose. And so to leave part of that out is ignorant, and it's just unnecessary because he's provided us with this armor. So language like fully in lots of different contexts has been grabbing my attention because it's not something I've ever really focused in on before, I think. But I've been really drawn by language like that recently.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Right, and it does tie in specifically to this verse where it says, stand firm, which is the same language that's used in Ephesians 6, stand firm, stand firm. It says it multiple times, with the armor of God, stand firm. So God doesn't just give us a command and then be like, good luck with that.
Yeah, right.
He gives us a command and then he resources us for obedience and to be successful in obeying his commands and to do those things. And so let nothing move you. And but it's with the full armor of God. So the helmet of salvation, the breastplate of righteousness, the belt of truth, feet fitted with the readiness that comes from the gospel of peace, taking up the shield of faith, which we can use to extinguish all the flaming arrows of the evil one, and the sword of the Spirit. And so then it says, always give yourselves fully to the work of the Lord, because you know that your labor in the Lord is not in vain. And so to give ourselves fully to this work that we're called to, remembering who we are, this identity that we have, that we are God's workmanship, created in Christ Jesus to do good works. And when we give ourselves fully to that, being fully dressed in the armor of God, being fully prepared, fully equipped, we know that labor in the Lord is not in vain.
Yeah.
That those works we do in him are useful and important.
Yeah, and I don't think we can expect to feel the fullness of the Lord if we're not doing the same, if we're not using what he's equipped us with fully, and even just the word itself. If we're not using, if we're sometimes in the word, but not always, and we're not prioritizing things like that, we're not fully indulging into these things that we're meant to be fully indulging into, we can't expect to feel the Lord in his fullness. It's a give and take.
Yeah, we'll be missing out. When we don't step into every good thing that he has for us, then we can't possibly understand what he's up to and what he's doing. Plus, there's this hope and this trust. So sometimes I think, well, okay, I will do these things, God, if you explain to me how it's going to work. And there's a part of, his ways are higher than ours, his thoughts are higher than ours. So I'm going to trust in the Lord. And lean not in my own understanding, but in all my ways acknowledge him, and he'll make my path straight. So there's movement, and I'm on the straight path. But in that, we don't have the capacity sometimes to understand where we're going until we're further along on the journey. Then we start to see more of the picture, and we begin to understand more. But it requires faithful obedience, and that's a joyful thing. And so even the hope that we have, like in Hebrews 11, when it talks about faith is being sure of what you hope for, and confidence or assurance of what you cannot see. That this work that he's called us to, it's not in vain. We don't always get to see that. So praying for one. God, please give me one person to share your love with. I've had these conversations where people are frustrated. They're like, well, I've been praying for one, and I've been praying for this specific person, but they've not responded to Jesus yet or said yes to him yet. Am I doing it wrong? It's well, no, but God is working in our labor, this labor of love, where we are sharing his love. That's never in vain. That is always producing something. And in Hebrews 11, it talks about the ancients were commended, for this hope that they had, but in things unseen, that even though they died, these things came to fruition later. So that's the thing too, is God is outside of time, and he transcends time. So much of the end result of what he's up to is eternal in nature, and we don't always get to experience that.
Yeah.
So here's the deal. If you're discouraged and ready to throw in the towel and that's enough and it's not producing what I hoped it would or thought it would, your labor in the Lord is not in vain. Sweet.
Amen.
Very cool. All right. Also cool today, our calendar page. I found it to be a little bit helpful, slightly clever.
Okay.
Okay, but definitely helpful. It's called Dashboard Confessions.
Okay.
Dashboard confessions. So have you ever seen one of these signals on your dashboard?
Yeah.
So it's telling you what they are. Like that first one, the low tire pressure alert.
Oh, yeah, I saw that right before I got a flat tire once.
There you go. Okay.
It wasn't in enough time.
Not enough time.
But,
that was one of the first ones I ever saw where I had no idea what it was. I had to look it up in the manual to figure it out. But then you got the engine warning, the fog lamp on indicator. I don't even know what.
oh, like if your fog lights are on?
I guess so.
My car, yeah, I've seen that one.
Oil pressure, low battery, engine temperature warning. Yeah, you want to pay attention to those.
Yeah. I like this one, actually. It's helpful.
Yeah, good reminder, too, that if one of those pops up.
Actually take care of it.
Yeah, might want to look into that.
Yeah. My car has one that's just a big exclamation point.
Exclamation point?
Thank you. I was going to try for way too long. I just could feel me not being able to get it out.
Yes, punctuation marks are tough.
Tricky. It's tricky. Yeah, just a giant blinking yellow exclamation point. That's it. That's all I
you
want
might
to
want
say.
to look into that.
It's not on right now.
Okay.
It just happens sometimes.
Yeah, I think all of us need a dashboard. So, like, at MCC, when we try to create a dashboard kind of for church health, and what are we noticing? The things we count, and not any one thing, being the only indicator, but always looking at having a dashboard so that we have, something that we can look at to see, how it's going, and where there might be an accident ahead or something that could go wrong. But then also as individuals in our lives, I think we need a working dashboard. Things like, am I overly tired? Am I anxious? Am I getting angry easily? Are my emotions running too hot or too cold? Both of those are important. If we become numb and we're not feeling anything, but kind of having a working, am I too busy, to prioritize? Am I spinning my wheels?
Yeah.
All those kinds of things.
Yeah, that's very important.
One time I was, years and years ago when I first started in ministry, I read this book called Ordering Your Private World. And in it was just talking about like when one area of your life is out of control, your whole life is out of control. And really it was like it was an excellent book. I'm not diminishing that, but that could have just been a tweet. And I would have been like, that was the thing.
Yeah.
I read 250 pages and I was like, that was the thing. If one area of your life is out of control, your whole life's out of control. Because we try to compartmentalize and go, well, no, I'm all set, here and here. But my finances are a wreck. Well, your whole, it's all coming down. And a diagnostic tool, kind of like what's your dashboard, was what is an indicator in your life of chaos or things that are out of control? And for me at that time, it was my closet. If my shoes weren't lined up and my clothes weren't hung up and there was just stuff thrown in my closet, I knew that the rest of my world was going to be crumbling. And so that was always like I could see that as a symptom, like, oh, no, don't throw that there. Let's go ahead and put that on the hanger and to pay attention to some of those things. That was really helpful.
That's pretty cool. It's a cool indicator too.
It's a good indicator.
Yeah, right.
But you look for them. Anyway, that's something I would encourage all of us with, to kind of be aware of what those might be, and sometimes they change.
Yeah, right. Especially over time.
And there are
As you grow
seasons
and
of life.
Yeah.
Too, where we adapt different rhythms and so forth. Cool. Very cool. And then we have a national day to celebrate. I think with the weather being what it's been, today is National Homemade Soup Day.
Yum.
National Homemade Soup Day. I don't know why I like to say it like that.
Soup.
Soup. I like to really emphasize the S and the P. Soup.
Soup.
You ever made a homemade soup?
Once. Only once. The only time that I've made a homemade soup, it was just chicken noodle soup.
It's good soup.
Nothing crazy. How long? Now I'm actually just going to tell you. It took me 3.5 hours to make chicken noodle soup.
Yeah.
At home. I've never done it again. It was miserable. I didn't enjoy it. I'm glad I did it, but I didn't have a good time.
I think a really good soup does take hours.
It was actually really good. I was very proud of it. I thought that it was going to be a mess because I thought it was taking me way too much time, and it was like, well, but it was very good. But I was like, there's no way this can be correct. It's just chicken noodle soup. Why is it taking so long? But like to get all the pieces together, to chop everything up, to cook the chicken, to get it to the right amount of cooked so that when you cook, it's just big process, I guess. But yeah, I've only done it once, and it took me 3.5 hours. And then by the time it was ready to be eaten, I was like, I don't even want to look at this. I was like, no. But it was very good. I was very proud. I don't cook a lot of fuller meals because I don't eat very much. Like I try to get a good amount, like a good balance of things every time that I eat, but I eat in very small quantities, so I don't typically make large meals that have a lot of intricate details and take a long time because it's just, it'll sit in my fridge and it'll go bad. I just don't eat enough. I eat enough for me, but it's just not a lot in quantity, so I don't tend to make meals like that. But I was like, you know what? Made a big pot of it. It's great.
Nice.
Shared it with a bunch of people.
What's your favorite soup?
Favorite soup?
Favorite soup?
Favorite soup? I don't know.
Okay.
I do like a good Italian wedding
Okay.
soup.
Does that have little tiny meatballs in it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Those are-
Yeah. They're like the little, and then they're little like round pastas.
Yeah, that's good.
I'm a big fan of that. What's your favorite soup?
I don't know. Here's what I know. I'm not a big soup guy.
Yeah,
Not real
no,
big
I'm
on the
not either.
soups. Because I've always, like, if you ask me what my favorite soup is, I want to go, okay, is chili a soup?
I was gonna say is chili a soup,
'Cause
but
if-
I know that it's not.
But it's because if chili's a soup, I like that. And if you're like, no, then I'd be like, is stew a soup?
Stews.
And then you're like, no, stew's not a soup. I'm like, okay, is jambalaya?
I've never actually had jambalaya. I
soup.
don't know even really what it is.
Yeah, these are the things I like. But probably I would go with some kind of bean soup. I like bean soups.
I don't like beans, but I like chili.
They're like, man, they're fuel. Beans are fuel.
I don't like.
It's such a, just fuel for the body. Beans are good.
Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, make some soup.
Make some homemade soup.
Maybe share it with somebody. That's a good thing. to do.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely share it.
Definitely a good thing to do.
Yep.
All right, Ariana. I think today might be the day.
Today's the day.
Today is the day
Today is the day.
where maybe I'm gonna get to enjoy some Pop Rocks from a Fun Dip box. Griswold's here. Come here, Griswold. Come on, pop up. Say hi. Griswold is here. Griswold, do you want some Pop Rocks from a Fun Dip box? Would you try a Pop Rock? That'd be mean, but we might do it anyway. I gotta get all 6 right. If you get all 6 right, we will
Okay.
mail you a congratulatory Pop Rocks from a Fun Dip box. So I'm gonna guess at all 6. You guess at all 6. We have the original 1981 edition of the classic board game Trivial Pursuit and the 40th anniversary edition, the oldest cards, newest cards, dealer's choice. What do you pick?
Old card today.
Old card. All right.
Okay. Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Here we go. Ready?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
You gonna tell me the color?
Yeah, I should probably do that, right?
What's
Blue?
it? Geography.
Okay. If I say this wrong, it's gonna be the worst. But I'm just gonna go for it.
Okay.
And you're gonna have to correct me if it's wrong.
What if I don't know?
Okay?
All right.
If you don't know, you don't have to correct me. I'll feel a lot better. But you're gonna know.
Read the question, please.
What is polo on a menu in Rome?
Polo, like P-O-L-O?
Yeah,
P-O-L-O?
is 2 L's. Is that right?
Polo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Why not? I'm gonna say
Okay. Sure.
chicken.
Yeah, that's right.
Chicken.
I knew the answer, but then I just got nervous. Okay, we can't
What
go
is?
there. We can't go there.
Where's polo?
Pink.
What would an Italian chicken sound like?
I can't even begin to grasp that concept
Okay,
right
pink.
now. I really
Entertainment.
can't.
Entertainment.
Who used to say, "Gee, Mr. Benny"?
G, Mr. Benny. G. Mr. Benny. Is it a nickname? G, Mr. Benny.
Like the answer?
I don't know. Fishing.
Oh, okay.
Friday.
What?
I don't know.
What?
Gee, Mr. Benny. Timmy, Charles, Jack, Fred, Frank, Murray.
No and no.
Okay.
The correct answer is Dennis Day.
Dennis Day.
Good old Denny.
Denny Day. Denny Day. This is, okay, next.
Yellow.
Yellow, history.
What was the 5th country to get the bomb?
5th country to get the bomb.
Yep.
China.
That is correct.
That is correct.
Brown.
Brown, art and literature.
What TV journalist wrote, "The camera never blinks"?
Never blinks.
Ooh, that's true.
What TV journalist wrote The Camera Never Blinks? Walter Cronkite.
No.
Okay. Diane Sawyer?
No. Wait.
I don't know. Who is it?
Dan
Rather.
Rather.
I'd rather not have missed that one.
Okay, Green.
Green, Science and Nature.
What causes baker's itch?
What causes baker's itch? A yeast infection.
Yeast
Okay.
is correct.
All right.
It makes sense.
Sure.
It does make sense. Okay. Orange.
Orange is sports and leisure.
What football coach popularized the forward pass?
Forward pass. I'm going to say Newt Rockne.
That's correct.
That is correct.
That's correct. Good old Newt.
Newt.
Good old Canute.
Canute. Turn me into a Canute. Okay, well, I did not get all 6 right, but if you did, let us know. We'll send you a congratulatory Pop Rocks from a Fun Dip box.
Fun card. Chicken.
Was it fun? Chicken. I don't know.
Just the chicken part.
All right. We're going to do a little Everyday with Jesus?
Yeah.
Our daily devotion, 140 characters or less per day.
Our day.
Our thought for the day says, an advocate is one who stoops to your level so that together you can rise above the filth of fallen humanity. Jesus is your advocate. And then the verse of scripture is Hebrews 6:19. It says, we have this hope as an anchor for the soul, firm and secure. It enters the inner sanctuary behind the curtain, where Jesus, who went before us, has entered on our behalf. He has become a high priest forever in the order of Melchizedek. Pretty cool.
Yeah. How true. Jesus has to come down to our level to lift us up.
Yeah. I found in this season that we've been in, I've quoted this verse a lot, or at least versions of it. That he gives us this hope that is an anchor for our souls, firm and secure. And I mean, this hope is in who God is, what he's done, and what he's promised to do. And I keep going back to that and using some of this language that, the greatest enemy of faith is misplaced hope. That if we start putting our hope in things that God never promised, or like in our own abilities or in, something else besides him, like some organization or another person, that is not an anchor for the soul. So like we talk about, at the beginning, stand firm, let nothing move you. All right, so here's like an anchor for the soul so that we can be anchored in him, that this hope that we have. But it really deals with Jesus as our advocate.
Yeah. This past week, I was watching John Rose preach the message, and he gave an example, kind of told a story right in the beginning about how him and his family used to go to the beach and go walk into the water a bit and plant their feet in the sand.
Oh, yeah.
And see, like sometimes they would get wiped away by the waves, and sometimes they could stand firm. And as you were just talking, I was just thinking about like an anchor, like being anchored, like almost how, like if you know how if you stand on the sand, it's easy to be knocked over, but if you dig your feet into the sand, like you're like anchored in a little bit better
For sure.
in there. just thinking about how, like, I want to have my feet dug into the sand, so to speak, when I'm pursuing Jesus and trying to be like him. Like, I don't want to be standing on the sand. I want to have my feet, like, below the sand and be locked into that, and have that kind of an anchor in my faith and my relationships and just everywhere in my life. I want to be anchored in.
Yeah, dig in.
Kind of a visual
Yeah.
that
I love the image too of Jesus as an advocate for us, that he advocates for us, that he is, and again, for us, that God is for us, not against us, and that God demonstrated his own love for us in this, that while we were still sinners, Christ Jesus would come and die for us. And so, God says, throughout the Old Testament, we have this unchanging God who is ever revealing. And he created a people for himself, the Israelite people, so that he would be revealed through their worship of him. So he gives them the parameters of worship. It makes this treaty with them, the 10 Commandments, where he says, okay, I'll be your God, you'll be my people. Here's what you can expect from me. Here's what I expect from you. Here's how this relational dynamic will work. But we kept missing the mark and continued, to fall. And so 600 plus Old Testament commands are a reminder that on our own, we can't. Like, we have fallen. That's the fallen nature of humanity. But that God so loves us that he would send his son Jesus. And Jesus, the language there, that he would stoop to our level. Like, I think there's a lot, it's like, we use that as a negative, like, well, I'm not going to stoop to their level. Right, I would agree that we don't want to stoop to somebody else's level to be nasty or mean-spirited. But then I think sometimes also we'll use that as a, well, I don't want to get near, those people or people who do this or act.
Yeah.
No. Get down and dirty.
Yeah.
If we're going to be like Jesus, just like he's gotten down and dirty, with me, he's calling us in this work that he's called us to, that isn't in vain, to live like he would, to get down and dirty, and then to help rise up and to stand together and to lift up. But a lot of times we've settled for something really cheap and perverse, in that instead of getting down and helping people and lifting them up, we maybe point the finger at them while they're down and go, look there, see, that's an example, don't be that. Or, kicked them while they were down, or just maybe the best out of these three scenarios would be just to ignore. But that's not God. God doesn't ignore. And he acknowledges and says, all right, I see you and I know where you are, and I'm not going to pretend like you're not there, but I'm coming down in there to help you up, to lift you up, to be with you.
I like the language of stoop, like, because you're right in saying, like, typically when we use stoop to your level, it's in a very negative way. But as you were just talking, I think a lot in visuals, so sorry that I keep getting visuals, but I'm thinking, like, stoop. When I hear just the word stoop isolated, I actually think of, like, a parent stooping to a child.
Yeah.
Like, to assist, or, like, to a small child, which is just testimony in itself to how God, our ultimate Father, and he stoops to our level, and as a father, not as like and I'm gonna come point the finger and then I guess I'll help you in it, because I can. Like with a pure heart, a pure soul, he stoops to our level to help us up as our Father. And so that's just cool, because you always, typically, I guess, not always, but typically you would think stoop to your level is a bad thing. But in that sense, it's a really awesome thing.
It's like, I don't know if you've ever seen this, but a child who comes up to his or her father and goes like this.
Yeah.
Having lived that as a dad, and like even in the context of my job, being at a worship service and being in the lobby and somebody talking to me and saying something really important. I mean, they're pouring their heart out, and it's a serious conversation. And one of my little ones, might have come up and gone like this. I mean, I'm gonna do this.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I did. That was just what I would do. I'd bend down and pick up my child and hold my child, while doing. And I think that's that's a good image for me of how God, when we come to Him in our helplessness, like, I want to be with you and I want to be where you are, but I can't get there on my own. And so it's like a sign of surrender too. Like, we lift up these hands that go, hi.
Hey.
And God's like, oh, I got you.
Yeah.
And then we get to see what He sees. And, those moments where maybe I was holding one of my children while I was talking with somebody, and they got to hear that exchange or something like that. I think
Yeah.
those are precious moments.
Yeah. Awesome.
And God does that with him, not with
Absolutely.
us.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
Sweet.
This is the day.
This is.